Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The sterile hum of machines filled the hospital room, their rhythmic beeps the only sound brave enough to interrupt the stillness. Sharon Newman sat in the hard plastic chair beside her son's bed, fingers trembling as she brushed a strand of hair from Noah's pale forehead. The young man's face was a shade too ashen, his lips colorless against the snow-white pillow. He had always looked so full of life, the confident artist, the traveler, the dreamer. But now, with a bandage encircling his temple and an IV running into his arm, Noah seemed impossibly fragile. When Sharon blinked, she could almost see him as a boy again, chasing fireflies behind the cottage, laughing as she called him in for dinner. That laughter echoed somewhere deep in her memory, mocking the silence now. "Please wake up, sweetheart," she whispered. "Just open your eyes." It had been 20 hours since the crash. 20 hours since a frantic call sent Sharon racing from Crimson Lights to Memorial Hospital. The police had already ruled it an accident, but Sharon's instincts, those sharp, motherly instincts honed by years of heartbreak, told her something else. Someone had wanted her son off that road. And she had a terrible suspicion who. The door creaked open behind her, and she spun, nerves frayed. "Hey," Nick said softly. Her ex-husband stepped in, wearing that same expression he'd worn too many times, the one halfway between protector and broken man. "You need to get some rest. You've been here all night." "I'm not leaving him." Sharon's voice cracked but carried steel beneath it. "I can't. What if he wakes up and I'm not here? Ray wouldn't want you to." "Don't," she cut in sharply. The name hit like a shard of glass. "Don't tell me what Ray would want. He's gone." And now, she stopped herself before the words spilled out too fast, too loud. Nick exhaled. "You think this wasn't an accident?" Her eyes lifted to his, glimmering with something between fury and fear. "Noah told me last week that he thought someone was following him. He brushed it off, said it was probably nothing. But now he's in a hospital bed with a concussion, and the police say the car lost traction. That's not Noah. He's careful, he's..." Nick moved closer, crouching beside her. "Sharon, I know you're scared. But we can't jump to conclusions." She snapped. "I'm not jumping. I'm seeing. The same way I saw it when Cassie died, when Faith got sick, when Mariah was taken. Every time I tell myself not to panic, that I'm imagining things, and every time I regret not trusting my gut." Nick said nothing. He just looked at her, eyes heavy with the weight of shared loss. Then Sharon broke. The tears came hard, unexpected, like a storm that had been waiting all night behind closed skies. "He's all I have left, Nick," she sobbed, clutching his hand. "If something happens to him..." He pulled her close, letting her cry into his shoulder. And for a moment, Sharon wasn't the strong matriarch of the Newman clan or the steady presence at Crimson Lights. She was just a mother who'd run out of strength. Outside the room, unseen through the narrow window, a shadow lingered. A woman in a tailored coat, her expression unreadable, watched the scene for a few seconds before turning away. Her heels clicked down the hallway, sharp, deliberate, leaving no echo. Across town, a storm of a different kind. Claire Grace stood in the Abbott Mansion's parlor, arms crossed, jaw tight. Kyle Abbott was pacing, his frustration written in every stiff movement. "I just don't understand why you had to meet him there," Kyle said. "It was a work meeting, Kyle." "Work? With Chance Chancellor, at Society, after hours?" His eyebrows rose. "Come on, Claire, you could have met him in the office." "I could have," she replied evenly. "But I didn't, because we were reviewing security footage from the gala, and I needed the laptop he brought from the station." "Nothing inappropriate happened." Kyle let out a harsh laugh. "That's not the point." "Then what is the point?" Claire demanded. "The point is," he said, finally stopping to face her, "you didn't even think to tell me until I saw the photo on GC Buzz. You and Chance, sitting close, whispering, and suddenly I look like an idiot." Her eyes flashed. "This isn't about your reputation, Kyle. It's about your control." He blinked. "Control?" "Yes," she shot back. "Every time I make a decision without running it by you, you treat it like betrayal. You tell me you trust me, but then you show up unannounced at my office, check who I'm texting, question my work choices. That's not love, Kyle. That's possession." He swallowed hard, guilt flickering across his face. I've lost too much lately. Summer, Harrison half the time, my job at Jabbit. When I met you, it felt like I finally had something solid again. I'm not something to have, she said quietly. I'm someone to respect. The words hung between them like smoke, thick, stifling, impossible to ignore. Kyle looked down at his hands. You're right, he said at last. I crossed a line. I just don't want to lose you, too. You will lose me, Claire warned softly, if you keep trying to cage me. She turned toward the door. For a moment, he thought she was bluffing. But then she picked up her coat and left, leaving Kyle staring at the empty room, the sound of the door clicking shut louder than any argument. Back at the hospital, when Sharon finally lifted her head, the clock showed 5:15 a.m. The horizon outside the window was just starting to blush with dawn. Noah stirred faintly, a whisper of movement beneath the sheets. Sharon froze, heart hammering. Then, slowly, his eyelids fluttered open. Mom, he croaked, voice raspy. Oh my God, Sharon shot up, clutching his hand. I'm here, sweetheart, you're okay, you're safe. He blinked in confusion. What happened? You were in an accident, she said, tears streaming freely now. Your car went off the road. The doctors said you're lucky to be alive. Noah winced, trying to recall. I was driving back from the art show. The headlights, there were headlights behind me. Close, too close. I slowed down, and then, he paused, pain flickering across his face. I think they rammed me. Nick, standing behind Sharon, went pale. Did you see who it was? He asked urgently. Noah shook his head weakly. No, just, dark SUV, maybe black or gray. Then everything went white. Sharon's blood ran cold. She gripped his hand tighter, determination replacing fear. We'll find out who did this. I promise you. And in her eyes, there was fire, the kind that only burns when a mother's heart is pushed too far. A collision of fates. By mid-afternoon, Sharon had refused to leave the hospital. Faith had come by with sandwiches, and Nick had gone to speak with Detective Chance. But the peace was short-lived. Claire arrived, looking worn but resolute. Hey, she said softly. I heard about Noah. How's he doing? Better, Sharon replied, forcing a tired smile. Thank you for coming. Claire nodded, but her eyes darted to the hallway, where Kyle stood a few paces away. He'd shown up uninvited, as if drawn by some invisible string between them. Of course, Claire said, pretending not to notice him. If there's anything I can do. There is, Sharon interrupted. Tell me what you've heard about that new guy, Mitch. Noah mentioned he'd been around the gallery. Claire frowned. Mitch Corbin. Yeah, he's been helping with marketing. Why? I think he's connected, Sharon said. Something about the way Noah mentioned him, like he didn't trust him. Kyle, who'd been listening from the doorway, stepped in. Sharon, let's not make accusations without proof. Mitch works for Jabbett's PR division. He's clean. Sharon glared. You don't know that, and you don't know he isn't, Kyle countered. Claire shot him a warning look. Kyle, not now, but he pressed on. You're letting fear cloud your judgment. That was the last straw. Sharon rose to her feet, her grief and fury blending into something raw and electric. Don't you dare tell me how to feel about my son nearly dying. You have no idea what it's like to sit here and wonder if the next beep from that machine means the end. The room fell silent, even the machine seemed to hesitate. Kyle looked chastened. I didn't mean. Enough, Claire cut in sharply, stepping between them. Kyle, go. Claire, I said go. Her voice was cold, steady, the same tone that once made Kyle fall for her strength but now made him feel small. He stared at her, jaw tight, then turned and walked out. Sharon collapsed back into her chair, shaking. Claire knelt beside her, squeezing her hand. He's scared, Claire murmured. But he doesn't get to take it out on you. Sharon nodded, trying to calm her breathing. I'm scared too, but I'll find whoever did this. I'll make sure they can't hurt anyone else. Later that night, Kyle sat alone in his car outside Abbott Manor, staring at his reflection in the windshield. The conversation replayed in his head, every accusation, every moment he'd lost control. Maybe Claire was right, maybe he was turning into someone he didn't recognize. He reached for his phone, thumb hovering over her contact, but before he could press call, a notification flashed across his screen. Unknown number. You don't know the half of it, Abbott. Stay out of it. His stomach dropped. Another text followed seconds later. What happened to Noah was just the beginning. Kyle's breath caught. He looked around the dark street, heart pounding. The shadows seemed thicker now, every parked car a possible threat. For the first time, he realized Sharon might have been right. Epilogue. The calm before the next storm. In No's hospital room, Sharon sat once more by her son's bed. The lights were dim, the corridor quiet. She leaned forward and whispered, "I'm not losing another child. Not now, not ever." But somewhere, beyond those walls, forces were already moving, unseen hands pulling strings, setting the next act into motion. And as the monitor beeped steadily, Sharon's reflection in the window flickered, just for a moment, as if the darkness outside had taken notice.